Um, how far can the United States men's team go in the knockout rounds for the Under 20 World Cup? Well, if you look at the bracket, they are grouped with a few really tough teams. Two of them, I think, at this point are amongst the favorites to win the tournament, which are Uruguay and Venezuela. Um, but their opponent in the first knockout stage, because of the fact the United States won Group F, is New Zealand. And I think that is a very winnable game. It's a game that they should win. I think it would be a big disappointment if the U.S. does not now repeat their quarterfinals finish from the 2015 Under 20 World Cup. A loss against New Zealand here would be a huge disappointment. I think it would be very devastating because you're supposed to beat teams like New Zealand. There's just no excuse. Um, so I do expect the U.S. will beat New Zealand. That'll get them into the last eight, and then they would play the winner of Venezuela Japan. If it is Japan, I think they're in with a chance. If it's Venezuela, I think they're up against it. Uh, it's hard to see the United States getting beyond the quarterfinals, but it's almost impossible, in my opinion, to see them get beyond the semis. I think the U.S. are good enough to pull off an upset against Venezuela, but then after that, their opponent would likely be Uruguay or host nation South Korea or Portugal in the semifinals. And if that's the case, I don't see them getting beyond that. But a semifinals finish would be very good. It would be amazing for this U.S. team. I think it'd be the first time ever that a U.S. team has gotten to the semis in an under 20 World Cup ever. So quarters is a must. They have to beat New Zealand. You have to. Otherwise, this tournament has to be considered a failure. Has to be considered a failure for the U.S. The goal heading into this tournament was to match or do better than the quarterfinals finish of 2015. And now they're in with a golden opportunity with a very winnable round of 16 opponent, a team that they are better than. You know, if their opponent in the round of 16 was like, I don't know, if it was a powerhouse like France or Uruguay or England or whatever, then yeah, it would be understandable for the U.S. to fail to advance and finish in the round of 16. But against New Zealand, they have to do it. They have to. So, you know, once they're into the last eight, which I'm reasonably, cautiously confident they will be, they're probably going to play Venezuela. And looking at the way Venezuela has been in recently, it's a tough task. It's a tall order. Maybe the U.S. could scrape by in extra time or on penalties, but I think quarterfinals is where the U.S.'s run will end. But I would not rule out entirely a semis finish. Uh, but a round of 16 exit against New Zealand would be a disaster. I think it would be a disaster. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the matter. And as far as the rest of the tournament is concerned, uh, I will again, like I said yesterday, I will adjust my predictions for the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the final third place match accordingly as the results start to come in, as the round of 16 begins tomorrow and continues throughout the week. So I will be making a quarterfinals prediction video, a semifinals, a finals, a third place, etc. But looking at the bracket now, I still stand by what I said yesterday. I think England have a beautiful path, at least to the semifinals. I would be surprised if England don't get to the last four, to be honest. A little bit surprised. Though them slipping up in the quarterfinals against a team like Senegal would not be totally out of the park because England did struggle in their group against Guinea. It was the only group game that they tied, so I could see them slipping up against another African side. But, we'll see. And looking at the rest of the bracket, I think we're going to have a Uruguay-Venezuela semifinal. I think we're going to have a Uruguay-Venezuela semifinal. And in my opinion, I'm leaning towards the winner of that semifinal lifting the trophy. Uh, that's what I'm leaning towards. One of Venezuela or Uruguay is going to win this tournament. And their opponent in the final, it could be England, it could be France, it could be Zambia. Um, but looking at those 8 teams on the second half of the bracket, of those 8 teams, I can only see 3 of them in the final. France, England, or Zambia. Uh, and I don't think France is going to get there because France had a very easy group. They haven't been properly tested yet. And I think it's going to hurt them as the tournament advances. Could be wrong. So, if Zambia meets England in the semis, one of them is going to the final. And how cool would it be to have an African side in the Under-20 World Cup final? That hasn't happened since 2009 with Ghana when they beat Brazil on penalties. And Egypt hosted that tournament, by the way. So it'd be cool to see another African team return to the final. I definitely think the Zambian side can do it. But for right now, looking at the round of 16, how it's set up, my final is Uruguay, England, I think. Or who knows? Maybe England will flop against Costa Rica and go out on penalties in true England fashion. Who knows? But I'm thinking right now it's going to be Uruguay, England. And the other 2 semifinalists are looking like Venezuela and Zambia. So, yeah. So, leave a comment below, like, subscribe. How far do you think the U.S. will go? How far do you think the U.S. can go? And what 4 teams do you think are most likely going to be in the semis? Because that's where we get down to real business here. So I'll see you guys later. Till then, peace out.